Trice.
Uplifting. Whoa, whoa. Bring it together, y'all. Yeah. Uplifting.
Welcome to Uplifting Communities Talk Show. This show is to provide information and real strategies for successful living. I'm Terry A. O'Neill.
I'm John L. Brown.
And I'm T.D. Trice. Welcome to today's program. Today we have a special guest on the program. This gentleman has been in a lot of arenas in life, in sports, and in politics. And now he's joining us here today, Mr. Rick Jennings, City Councilman District 7 here in Sacramento, California. Welcome to today's program, Mr. Jennings.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
We wanted to ask you about what you're doing in the community, how things are going in Sacramento for you, and hopefully there will be somebody out there today who will be embraced with the idea that there are things that can be done in the community to help uplift the community. And that's the reason why we have this show.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing today. We know your background is extensive. You started in, we know you were born and raised in Houston, right? Texas?
Yes.
All right, so what brings you here? What brought you here?
Actually born in Houston, raised in D.C.
Okay.
Mom and dad didn't get along so well, so one wanted to live in D.C., the other wanted to live in Houston, Texas, and so they couldn't quite make it work because they couldn't agree on where they wanted to live, so they split and they divorced, and so I would go visit my dad during the summer and live with my mom during the year. So born in Houston, raised in D.C.,
Okay.
Came out to California in Oakland in 1976 in pursuit of gold. A gold ring with the Oakland Raiders. So we'll get a chance to talk about that, I know, a little bit later. But then after the career was over, in 1986, I was working for a corporation named Xerox Corporation, and they asked me to come to Sacramento to take over this marketplace in an effort to see if we could raise up the performance of the market. And so I came to Sacramento, fell in love with it, and have been here since 1986.
All right.
Wow.
You know, I like to jump right into it. Let's just jump right into it, all right?
Okay.
Mr. Jennings, one thing I want to find out, is there a lot of young people from the communities is going to the city council meetings?
Actually not from the standpoint of coming to the meetings and testifying in front of us. There's every opportunity on any agenda item that's on the agenda for a person to fill out a slip and be able to make comments. So they can get involved that way. But then there is an area where if it's a non-agenda item and you want to speak to it, but it's not on the agenda, we have an open session and you can speak at that point as well. And every speaker gets 2 minutes at the agenda. We'd love to hear the voice of our young people, and we'd love to see them get more involved. But unfortunately, they don't seem to get as involved as we'd like for them to do so.
Why do you think it's like that? Why do you think they're not involved?
I think sometimes we don't necessarily create a venue for them to want to be involved. They don't see it as a youth where their voice can be heard and valued. And so we have done some things, summer in City Hall, where we bring young people into City Hall during the summertime to work in the different offices and different departments so that they can learn a little bit more about local government and then decide how they fit in and where they want to get involved. We also have a lot of commissions. I have a youth commission for my district, and there are 8 districts in the city of Sacramento. So every council member has 2 youth that represent the voice of the youth as their youth commissioners, and they have meetings on a monthly basis, and they represent the voice of the youth. So we're finding more and more ways to get our youth involved. We hope we'll be able to listen to them more and find out ways that we can get them even more engaged and involved.
I wanted to see if you can explain to the audience what a city councilman, what is a city councilman? Because a lot of people, we hear the word.
We hear the title,
Yeah.
but we don't know exactly what does that mean.
What that mean? What do the city councilmen do? How they represent the community?
So number one, there are about 500 people in the city of Sacramento. And every time you do the redistricting, we divide a council district into a certain geography of land. I'm in District 7 of the city of Sacramento. I cover Greenhaven, Pocket, Valley High, half of Valley High, the new Delta Shore Shopping Center. Hopefully you've done some shopping there and helped us with our
That
tax base.
is nice.
Isn't it nice?
That is a nice
It is.
place
I
to
shop
go.
there.
Yeah, okay.
And there are going to be 5,200 homes that are going to be built there. So it's going to be a thriving community where you can live, work, and play right there in the community, and get on the light rail right down the street. So you may not have to own a car by living there.
Right there at
But-
Franklin and Cosumnes.
Cosumnes.
Exactly,
River.
exactly.
Because it used to be closed off.
Right.
For,
Yeah, it
no,
was.
for many years, that space was closed off, and then they started the development on the road, and then the next thing you know, it's all built up and
Yes,
looking.
it's looking
okay.
nice.
So 8 districts, and each one of us has somewhere around 60,000, 65,000 people that we represent. So what does a council member do for you? And my theory of a council member is that a council member is the community servant for the people.
Okay.
We serve the people. Any issues that you may have that are going on in the community, whether it be safety, whether it be traffic, whether it be public works, whether it be streets unpaved, lighting, any issues that you have, you should contact your council member and get them involved in helping you to solve it. Because you, as an individual, can't navigate your way. I mean, you can, but it's more difficult. And why should you go through that difficulty when you have a council member who has a staff that works for you? And so then we work to help solve your issues, and people take advantage of it. They send it by email, they call us directly, they see us face to face. When I'm shopping in Bel Air or Nugget, they stop me and pull me aside. When I go to the library, they want to talk about whatever issue is on their mind. Our job is to help solve it for you.
What are
Oh,
some
okay.
of the misconceptions that people that you find? Are there a lot of misconceptions about, the city council and whether or not, your voice can actually be heard?
Well, I think some people believe in government. I'm one of those people. I believe that we have to be a part in holding government accountable and being a part of the solution within government. But there are some people who are non-trusting of government.
Oh, sure.
So based on their experiences with government, they're non-trusting. So no matter what happens, they don't feel like government is there for them. Having now been involved in the process in 12 years on the school board, and now in my 6th year on the city council, I want to make sure that government is there for you. Government is designed to help make the community better, and you have to hold government accountable. And if in fact you don't, then let your voice and your vote be heard, and get out and vote that council person out of office,
Right.
and get somebody in who will serve you in the way that you desire.
There's a lot of problems in the disadvantaged communities. A lot of problems. One, the biggest problem that I've seen talking to people and they have concerns with is rent, because a lot of people can't afford it with the wages that they're making it. Now, how can rent was number one. Homelessness is still a problem. Drugs is still a problem in our communities. And I see to where as though that's one of the biggest concerns. It's not about lighting, it's not about, people is not worried about that. about the lighting, and which is important, you know, but their main thing is, you know, the necessity of life.
Well, that's not always the case. Some people are worried about those things. So, I mean, I understand what your point, but there are major concerns, you know, on another level about those things. People who, you know, it's lighting, you know, in dark communities at night. There's a lot of theft going on, a lot of things like that. Those are great concerns. So,
Yes.
but if you want to go ahead and address.
So, you know, those are big subject matters that you're talking about
Yeah,
when you
sure.
start talking about the rent increases and you start talking about homelessness,
Yeah.
you know, the drugs and the crime that goes on in the community. Those are really, really big subjects.
Sure.
And so the more I can get a community involved and neighborhood associations working in the community to help us keep safety down.
Right.
I'm very competitive. My district has been the safest district in the city of Sacramento for the last 6 years.
All right.
Every single month. We have less crime than any other district. There's a lot of reasons why that happens. We have neighborhood associations. We work
Right.
together. We have pods, police observation devices in every ingress and egress area that when you come into our district. We work with our police force. We hold community meetings. We try to make sure we understand as people what they can do to become a part of the solution and not become a victim of the crime. And so we work hard to do that, and the community is working with us. We're the biggest next door in the entire city of Sacramento. We've got more people on next door letting you know when something is wrong in the community than anywhere else in Sacramento. We've got over 10,000 people that are on next door talking to each other.
Right.
And so some people look at next door and they say, well, there's too much stuff that goes on there.
Yeah.
But it's a great way of letting people know
What's going on?
what's going on and how you can be a part of the solution and not
Right.
be a victim of the problem.
Yeah, what I hear is a lot of, in your district, there's a lot of community participation. There's a lot of people,
And I think one of the difficulties with other districts is the amount of people who want to be, desire to be involved in their community.
Right.
That is a really deep subject and topic to get to, because not everybody feels the same way.
Right.
Right.
You know, especially when you have economic divisions, then all of a sudden there's a whole nother mindset about how much are we going to participate, how much are we going to be involved. You know?
So one of the things that I do in my district to keep people involved, on the third Thursday of every month, we have what's called Trucks and Such. And Trucks and Such, we bring the food trucks in, we get our park, we get one of our local parks, one of the biggest parks that we have, and we bring all the food trucks in. You know, people, they do well when you break bread together. So they get to know each other. They get to come out of their house, open up their doors, and they get to see each other in the park. And once they're in the park, maybe we put a little music on with Jazz in July. Or we have movie night for the kids. We've got a movie night coming up this September the 20th,
Okay.
A Dog's Way Home. And at dusk, you're gonna have 1,000 people who are gonna be out there with their kids watching movies the same way we used to do when we go to the drive-in movie,
Right.
right? But this is in a park. And so whether it's movie night, whether it's games, whether it's sports clinics, whether it's Trucks and Such, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, we bring the community together. And then once we have them together, then we can start problem solving some of the issues that are going on in our park.
Right.
That's a good movie, by the way.
It's a great
I
movie.
saw it with my son.
So let's move into the Center for Fathers and Families. Did you establish this? Talk a little bit about that.
I wish I had established it. It actually got established in 1994. And a young man that established it came to me in 1997 and said that he had been told that he needed to go back and preach. And so he was going to follow that direction because he had wandered away from it. And so he went back to becoming a preacher. He turned the center over to me in 1997. And I've been running it ever since. And I believe so strongly in the mission because I didn't grow up with my dad. And I didn't want my children growing up without their dad. I didn't want to continue that cycle of fatherlessness.
That's right.
And so I believe so strongly in the mission of the Center for Fathers and Families. I took it over without a salary, without any benefits, without a location to run the programs. I took it over just on the fact that it was a nonprofit committed to doing something for men and for families that I believed in. And we've been running it now. We just celebrated our 25th year of service in the community. We're on 920 Del Paso Boulevard in North Sacramento. We've got a 7,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
We do anger management classes, parenting classes, domestic violence classes, one-on-one counseling. If you have drug problems, we send you to a drug counselor because we don't do that there, but we do drug testing at the center as well. And we serve over 1,500 kids every day in after-school programs because we want to get in front of the problems. We don't want those kids to grow up and follow in the footsteps of their parents if their parents have had a negative life cycle.
Yes.
And so we're in front of it, and we're also dealing with men, trying to get them to be better fathers, better husbands, and better leaders in the community.
Right.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
It is.
beautiful. I don't know. I didn't take your idea from you, but I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell you this. That's the goal, is having an uplifting community center all over the United States with the program that you're talking about in the communities. And if we can just come together and do something like that, you'll be surprised how people can just start loving one another and caring for one another, you know. I
And
mean,
having
what you're
better
doing, man,
communities.
I mean, this is just, it's amazing.
And the thing that we're most happy with at the center is people walk through the door on their own.
Yeah.
They don't
Yes.
have to be court ordered. Now,
Right.
some come that are court ordered, but they walk through on their own and they feel like this is a family atmosphere, and
Wow.
we are committed to helping them overcome whatever caused them to be there in the first place.
Right.
And so that's what we want. That's the environment we want in order to affect the change that is needed.
Wow.
And change definitely is needed.
Yes.
as
And you
see
know, I
these
went
kids.
to, when I was staying in Oakland, like you and I was talking, I lived in Oakland, I worked for the post office, where I retired. And I went to Les Brown. You know, heard of Les Brown. I went to his one of his speeches, his seminars. And it was one thing that he said, we all live in beautiful communities, is the way we see it, the way we look at it. And that meant something to me. And what you're doing, your organization is doing with all the things that they're doing, is showing the people that they're living in a beautiful community.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
How many people do you have that come through yearly in that program?
On average, we average about 400 men a month who walk through the doors,
Really?
who come to all of our Daddies Here support groups, all the classes I mentioned on domestic violence and anger management, issues that, because of the unresolved issues that you grew up in your life, they've led to anger and they've led to drug addiction and they've led to things that have caused you to be dysfunctional within your family. We need to resolve those things.
Right.
And we need to get you back on track in order to reach the potential that was built inside of you before you ever grew up.
Anyway, yeah.
Exactly. So
Right.
that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to find that inner self that can reach the potential that's inside of them so they can be a great father, a great husband, great leader of their family. And we've been successful at it. We've got a wall of fame that's up now. And these are men who have finished their classes, and yet they keep coming. Because
That's
they
what I'm
now
talking about.
want to be a mentor for someone else
There you
who's
go.
going through what they've gone through. And so this guy, Terry Moore, who runs the adult services program for me, he's phenomenal. I mean, he's number one. He's one of the top poets in all of Sacramento. And he's
You had to mention that.
He's just so motivational. And I mean, he's a guy that, you know, once he gets you in there, you feel like you want to be there, and you won't stop coming.
He's going to be glad to hear that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a blessing.
And especially he's on the show. I mean, Terry Moore's name is on the show. I mean, I love that.
This might sound a little bit off topic, but in a way, I don't think it is. You know, one of the things that annoys me as I walk out and about the community, you know, seeing guys' underwear and not really wanting to
Yeah.
see guys' underwear. You wake up on it's a beautiful Saturday morning, and you know, you go out, you go to the store just to get something, and there's some guy there, and he's got, you know, you're looking at his Hanes all of a sudden. You don't even want to be, you
Right.
know. And then he's got his kid there with him, his son's there with him, and you're like, well, how? And you don't want to say, having the proper words to say that are not going to be inflammatory, but at the same time are going to be, well, you were talking about earlier, a learning moment.
Yes.
You know, always, what,
Always be teaching.
ABT.
always be teaching, always be
Yes,
learning.
ABT.
And
ABL.
I want to say, dude, do I have to see your underwear
No,
today?
that's crossing.
See, that's
no,
what I mean. You know,
no,
how do you have
might,
the right
yeah, you
words?
might not come out of that situation. But can you tell us a little bit about that concept that you use? I really like it, the ABT, ABL.
Right. So we were talking about that earlier, and in my life, I'm always looking for the opportunity to teach. And so I call that the ABTs of life, always be teaching. So whenever you see an opportunity, whenever you see a young person or an older person, and you have the opportunity to make eye contact, and you know that there's a kindred spirit between you, that's the opportunity to teach. And hopefully we're open to always be learning ourselves, and at the same time making them available to be learning. And the reason that that's important is because I don't hear what you're saying to me until I know that you care about me. I can't receive it. So I don't care what you say about my underwear, because that's my fad, and that's the way I dressed, and maybe I'm right and you're wrong. But if I have a relationship with you, and I can look you in the eye and say, young brother, do you know that if you go on a job interview and you go in like this, they're not gonna hire you? Do you know that?
And it has to do with respect. You know,
Yeah.
they have to feel like they can, right, respect you.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Right.
Right, and then over time, when that relationship develops, then you can have that sensitive conversation, because it bothers me too.
Right. It bothers me too.
I'm not alone.
No,
I'm
you're not
in the
alone.
universe.
Before we, the show is ended, I would like for you to tell us about your career with the Oakland Raiders and the 49ers. And you got that Super Bowl ring on.
Right.
You know,
Oh, look at that.
I
He
really,
does that on.
yeah, I
Oh,
really
my
got,
goodness.
I
Look
got
at that.
I got
Oh
blessed
my
in life
God.
Let me see if it'll fit on my
Oh,
finger.
the first time. Oh, look
Not
at
even
that.
on my
Hey,
thumb. Not
hey,
even
can
on
I-
my
Can I just touch it?
Just
Oh
look at
my
that.
God.
Be careful with it now.
Oh, look at this here, you guys. This is the Super Bowl ring for the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
and this is the first Super Bowl that we ever won.
Oh, okay.
We lost Super Bowl
Of
number
the
2.
3 Super Bowls.
Of the 5 Super Bowls that we've been to.
I knew it was 5.
So,
Yeah, right.
Yes, you did.
5 and 3 is 8.
so of the 5 that we've been to, we've won 3, we've lost 2. And we lost Super Bowl number 2. The next opportunity we got was 9 years later in Super Bowl number 11. And then we won 32-14 against the Minnesota Vikings. In this ring, there are 5 diamonds here, 5 diamonds there, total of 10,
Wow.
in honor of the 10 Super Bowls that came before Super Bowl number 11. There are 16 diamonds that represent the number of games that we won that year, and there's a diamond in the middle that's a carat that is for the first victory that we've ever had. So that was very, very rewarding to win something like that. Because you
Yes.
don't play the game for personal statistics, you play the game as a team to win,
That's right.
Yes.
and we were able to do that.
And Al Davis would say that there's that motto up there, just win, baby. Is what I've heard.
Yeah, he'd be on the
He
field.
said,
He'd be on
yeah.
the field every single day, every single game, and make sure you understood today the concept of the day, the goal of the day is just win.
But how did you feel? You know what I'm saying? To win a Super Bowl,
Oh,
you know?
it's the greatest feeling in the world. You get a lot of individual accolades, as I said, but to win it as a team, the greatest
Yes.
game, the top game in all of football, that's how you really feel. It's the greatest feeling that I can ever express to you.
Would you tell us where people can get in touch with you as far as your city councilman for District 7? How can people get in touch with District 7 if they had concerns in their community there? And then could you also tell us how people can find information about the Center for Fathers and Families?
I'd be happy to do both. With the City of Sacramento, you can go to cityofsacramento.org, and that's the website, and just go directly to District 7. If you want to call us, you can call us at 916-808-7007, okay? For the Center for Fathers and Families, we have a real easy number. It's 916-568-DADS, DADS, and that's 3237. And then our website is cffsacramento.org, cffsacramento.org. So those are the two ways that you can get in touch with us. We're pretty easy to get to, and we're always looking for more people who want to change their lives, want to be a better parent, and get engaged and involved.
Terrific. Thank you for sharing that with us. Rick Jennings, as guest on today's Uplifting Communities program, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Please consider, when you get a chance, thank you for watching the program, but when you get a chance, consider being a friend of Access Sacramento. This wonderful facility here is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and your donation is fully tax deductible. Also consider visiting our Uplifting Communities Facebook page. Look for us on Twitter and Instagram. We would love to hear your feedback. And with that, I'm T.D. Trice.
I'm Terry A. O'Neill.
And I'm John L. Brown.
And for our guest, Rick Jennings, please, thank you for watching our show. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Community, so we can get it right. We can get it right. Waiting on you. Uplifting. Whoa, whoa. Bring it together, y'all. Yeah. Uplifting. Need some uplifting, yeah. We can get it right. So we can get it right. Uplifting, uplifting community. Bring our people up to get it right. Uplifting community. Come on, let's get it right, y'all. Uplifting community. Yeah, 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 yeah. Uplifting.